And after the Pledge of Allegiance, we're going to have a moment of silence. This year on from 2968, that's when we lost Officer Perry, and that's his anniversary date, so it'll be 51 years. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 7:06. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Von Cricks?
Here.
Benedetti?
Here.
Howie?
Present.
Baker?
Here.
Perucci?
Here.
Roseppa?
Here.
Stack?
Here.
Quorum present, Mayor Stack.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is our minute approval from January 22nd, 2019 regular meeting.
So moved. Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Next item on the agenda is presentations and proclamations, and I would like to make the fire department badge ceremony. I didn't catch this morning the young man's name, the first name. Zonka is the last name. Tyler's. Sorry.
Motion
I'm
to make
sorry.
this part of the regular meeting.
Support.
Today was one of my busy days with all this State of the City address, so I'm sorry that I messed up on your name. Okay, so it's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. I'd like to bring down our Director of Police and Fire and also our Fire Chief along with our Deputy Fire Chief. I was thinking it. Poor guy, gets got a microphone here, is it turned on?
Gentlemen. Sure.
There you go.
Whatever you need.
Thank you.
What's going on?
Thanks, Madam Mayor and Council. The end of the first year, actually, Tyler, come on down here and bring your wife. So the end of the first year on the job as a firefighter is always special because that's when you actually earn your badge. You've spent your first year on probation. There's all kinds of tasks, there's all kinds of skills and everything you have to learn and prove yourself amongst your fellow firefighters. You can see they were kind enough to come down and show some support for Tyler. Tyler did a great job this first year. We're going to get a lot of good work out of him over the rest of his career. But he's transitioned from basically a probationary employee to a full-time professional firefighter, kind of going along the lines of going from an apprentice to pretty close to a journeyman. But we'll give you a little more time to work on some of that stuff. But he's a great troop, great addition to the Trenton family. Does an awesome job on the EMS rig as a paramedic, and does a great job around the station too. So, so I'm going to have you raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear that I will support.
I do solemnly swear that I will support
And defend the Constitution of the United States of America.
and defend the Constitution of the United States of America
And the state of Michigan.
and the state of Michigan
Against all enemies, both foreign and domestic.
against all enemies, both foreign and domestic,
And I will faithfully and impartially discharge
and I will faithfully and impartially discharge
my duties as firefighter
my duties as firefighter
of the Trenton Fire Department
of the Trenton Fire Department
under the appointment of the department
under the appointment of the department
according to the laws of the city of Trenton,
according to the laws of the city of Trenton,
to the best of my skills and abilities.
to the best of my skills and abilities,
So help me God.
so help me God.
And, he's a medic, he can handle it.
Yeah, that somebody told you.
No pressure.
It's easier to put on when he has his shirt off.
Whoa, Kyle, come on. All right.
What do you think, is Adam Levine?
Yeah, really, there you go.
Here.
You still mad about that? You still mad about the halftime show? The game was terrible.
Too.
Yeah, I read it home. Waste.
I can say that.
So I'd like to introduce, I have my girlfriend Kaylee with me today, my father Randy, mother Jeanette, and my son Jack is back there with making some comments.
There you go. You want to be part of it, too.
Thank you very much.
All done? Apologize for your first name. And I just talked to you the other day. Congratulations.
Didn't you treat me once already? I do. My finger.
Yes.
Congratulations, he's a great guy.
Welcome aboard.
Oh, yes.
Congratulations, welcome aboard. You're gonna, like, that'll be 5 years before you know it.
Okay, those are the great things about the community I just love. So it's a good thing to have him get his badge, and now we can move forward with other things he'll be able to learn in the department. Okay, next item on our agenda is for appointments, and I'm wanting to reappoint Frank Mazzella to the Zoning Board of Appeals, the reappointment of James Anglin and John Amorosi to the Building Authority, and the appointment of Luana Diesel to the Downtown Development Authority for terms expiring February 1st, 2022.
So moved. Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Benedetti?
Yes.
Howie?
Yes.
LaFever?
Yes.
Perugi?
Yes.
Rezeppa?
Yes.
Stack?
Abstain?
Von Crooks?
Yes.
Motion carried, Mayor Stack.
Thank you very much. Next item on the agenda is our 33rd District Court, and I'm going to defer to our Mayor Pro Tem, Councilman LaFever.
Make a motion to receive and place on file the final caseload for 2018, and also receive and place on file a 2019 budget and approve it as presented.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Next item on the agenda is in department heads and officials. Our city attorney, I'm going to defer to Mr. Long for ordinance number 795, amend chapter 22 prohibiting recreational marijuana, and this is for the second reading.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As council knows, this is the adoption of the opt-out provision allowed under Michigan law for approval of the Medical Marijuana Facility Licensing Act. It's available for council's consideration on second reading.
So moved. Support.
It's been moved and supported. I'm just going to ask the attorney, is there a place where we need to send that to? That
Yeah.
opt-out?
Yeah, you'd send it to the Secretary of State.
Okay.
Communication.
I just want to make sure that our clerk sends it there. Okay, it's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Next item on the agenda is for our Director of Police and Fire, Towing, Storage, and Record Services Contract Renewal. Mr. Voss.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. What you have before you tonight is a request to extend the contract with Lions Service Center. Lions Service Center has been our towing provider for my career. I could go and read the letter here.
So move.
Okay.
It's moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Councilman Howie?
If I can have a roll call vote, not that I have any financial interest in this matter at all, but I just feel more comfortable, please.
Okay.
Is your car still being stored there?
Or was it towed?
Yeah, with a toad,
It
right?
was towed. After the snowfall, it was towed. Okay. Is there any other discussion? Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Howie?
Abstain.
LaFever?
Yes.
Peruggi.
Yes.
Rezapa.
Yes.
Stack.
Yes.
Von Crooks.
Yes.
Benedetti.
Yes.
Motion carried, Mayor Stack.
Thank you very much. Next item, Madam Clerk, do we have any late items?
No, we do not.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is for disbursements and statements, and I'm going to defer to our Mayor Pro Tem, Councilman LaFever, with the authorized disbursements, please.
Thank you, Mayor Stack. I make a motion to authorize disbursements of $294,156.30.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered.
My next motion would pay B&D Vacuum $9.99. I'm telling you, man, where's old Danny Gillespie when you need him around here?
Didn't we talk about this before?
Yeah, I agree. And ask for roll call vote, and I will be abstaining.
Need support?
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Sure.
As mentioned before, is there any way that we can send a cap before we send out a check? I mean, it's a $10 check.
I agree.
I mean, I mean, it's not like we're one time only using this vendor. We could repetitively use this vendor. It would help, you know, I mean, processing, putting it in the mail.
I think so, yeah.
I don't know what that magic number is, but I think this could be done differently.
Yeah, I agree. It should be a minimum of $100. So if we can send them a $100 check.
Well, you'll get that sometime in
Oh,
January.
you want the minimum. You want a minimum check, and we always send it that? That's how much we send you?
Nelson's got a point.
Monthly
Not only does it
retainer
cost
here.
you, it costs me that when I do my own thing for $9.99. Stupid.
If it costs you more, then I'll take that back.
Yeah, just take cash.
I don't know if there's a stipulation that could, we could put in place for that, so,
It's well taken, though.
but I
All
understand.
right.
Okay. If there's no other discussion, Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
LaFever.
Abstain.
Peruggi.
Yes.
Rezapa.
Yes.
Stack.
Yes.
Von Crooks.
Yes.
Hold on.
Benedetti.
Yes.
Howie.
Yes.
Motion carried, Mayor Stack.
Hold on.
Okay. Councilman
You know,
LaFever.
Nelson's got a good point, really does, okay? And it's stupid for me to send a bill out for $9.99. I'm just gonna go ahead and wipe it off, and we won't ask to pay that, okay? And when they come in on my Twister, I'm gonna buy more, okay?
Well,
Yeah. Oh, but I think it's a valid point. It's a lot
The
of work
check's
for
been written,
$9.
it's already been written.
It's what?
She's already written your check. She was just waiting for approval.
It hasn't been mailed, but once you approve these, then they go in the mail.
I'll pick it, don't mail it, I'll pick it up then. I'm not paying to get a refund on the check.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and, you'll go ahead and pick it up? Okay.
And pay me 52 cents for picking it up.
It'll take a half hour to find it through all the bills, so what's the simpler way?
Okay, Nelson, I'll help you. with that.
And all the pain and suffering she's got to deal
Yeah,
with
there you
while you're
go.
there.
Okay, so, we're all set there. Okay, next item, is, I'm sorry. Next item is for other council business, and I start with, Councilwoman Von Crooks.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I was just wondering tonight, we were talking about the economic development position a couple weeks ago. Where does that lie at this point, and when are we going to get started here?
Mr. Church, would you like to take care of that?
I can respond to the question. Mr. Wagner solicited quotes from insurance companies for the liability insurance beyond what is just in his general homeowner's policy. The premiums were cost prohibitive to secure liability insurance for what the revenue was, and he did not wish to pursue the consulting services arrangement at the financial terms to secure the insurance at the costs that were quoted.
Okay, so has another offer been made, in other words, to be an employee on an hourly rate or up to the same amount of money per month? Is there a way we can work out that contract?
To answer your first question, no such offer has been made. None was authorized by the council. To answer your second question, that could be pursued if that was the will of the council, but
Well, I would
we
make
have
a
not been
motion.
given that direction.
I'd make a motion to look into that so we can get this position off the ground, because there's a lot of projects that are in the works, and I'd hate to see anything fall behind because we don't have him. So that's my motion.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Councilman, who had, Councilman LaFever?
Scott, you say the cost was prohibitive. What was the cost?
I believe the quotes he told me were in the neighborhood of 16,000 to 25. No, I'm sorry, 1,600 to 2,500. Yeah, I was off a zero. But I think 1,600 was the cheapest quote he had.
And that's that's a prohibitive number to you? $1,600?
It's not my decision to
Oh, I
make.
thought you said it was.
No, he said it was cost
Got it.
prohibitive for a position that pays $1,500 a month through the month of November. He felt that was cost prohibitive, and I did not debate that with him.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Councilman Howie?
This is obviously, it's a tough issue. There's been a lot of discussion back and forth on this, and I've been voted no in the past. I mean, there's a lot of different things, there's different ideas and everything. I mean, just the thought that this was going to move forward, without having any requirement, it really frustrated me, and I think Mr. Long, I think that's something that you should have picked up. I mean, look, when we stand here, we take an oath. We put our hand on that Bible. We don't go in and say part of that oath is not that we can enforce certain insurance requirements by certain people, whether they're friends or not friends. That's not how it works. We're here as elected officials to do the right thing. So I personally think we should wait until we go through part of our budget and just see where some of the dollars are going to be. I know some people think that this money well spent. I think right now we have a city administrator, and I feel comfortable with him in his role and his competence.
Kyle. Councilwoman Von Crooks?
Yep, I've sat here for 26 years, Bob, and I've never made a decision based on a friendship. Not one. I based my decision on Jim Wagner, on his abilities, and his abilities for the projects he's done in this community. I was not friends with Jim Wagner, didn't know Jim Wagner really till I saw his performance the last 7 years in this city. And I think we can all sit here and testify to what's going on in Trenton right now, Bob, because of him. And I think that we can refer it to a study or whatever if you want to talk about the hourly rate up to $1,500 a month. It's not that great of money. As you well know, we spend more money on attorneys and different things that I think Jim Wagner's gotten a lot more done than some of them. So quite honestly, I cannot see us letting this just fall by the wayside for $1,500 a month. He's only going to work 20 hours a week at an hourly rate of probably $37 an hour, and he gets more done in 5 hours than a lot of people do. So I can't see delaying this much longer. I mean, we've got a lot of stuff that's just getting off the ground, and I think he's a big asset to this community, but I will never, ever vote for to spend taxpayer dollars based on a friendship. I can tell you that. It's based on integrity and the ability of his work. That's it, for me. So we can refer it, you can do whatever you want, but I'm willing to, discuss this
I'd
further.
ask for a roll call vote, please.
Okay.
What are we voting on?
Yeah, what are we voting on?
To-
No, I'm just saying if you.
I understand.
I understand that. I just want everyone to be clear.
The original motion on the floor was,
She wants to go to a study session, right? Is that what you're asking?
If that's what you guys want to do,
No, I
and
don't- I
talk
don't-
about it
I-
more, that's fine, but I'm willing to vote for an hourly rate for him,
Okay.
based up to $1,500 a month, at $37 an hour. I think they figured that out, that would be the hourly rate. And let's move on with this. I'm ready to vote on it. Let's get it going.
So you're not looking to send it to a study session, you want to?
No, I'm saying if you if you guys wanted to discuss it further, I think, to me, it's been discussed enough. It's time to move forward, so I'm ready to vote.
I will say that in the 8 years that Jim Wagner's been with me, I will let you know that some of this stuff with McLeod Steel would have never happened. He made the connections after I came back from a brownfield meeting, and he made things happen and moved forward. He's got other things going with, whether it's the Dano property to levy to, right down the line. So I am going, I'm going to support it. I think that he's still got things in the fire for us to still continue, and I think it's needed, so. So where do we want to stand with this?
So
Is there,
there's not even actually a motion on the table, so what is,
so,
I made
okay,
the motion.
okay, but that was to look into it, but you're
Oh,
saying,
that's to the hourly rate and to start right away.
okay, so you're making a substitute motion, because at first you said to
Right,
look into it.
right,
Okay.
right.
Because we don't need to look any further, it's just,
No.
it's there.
Madam Mayor,
Sure.
I might want to caution the council that there is a proceeding scheduled to go forward this Wednesday in Wayne Circuit Court involving this property. And Mr. Wagner is in this position consulting with Mr. Ackerman, who's the counsel of record in this matter, and will require his presence. He needs to be there working for you.
Thank you.
Councilman Peruggi?
So, per Timber's request, you're saying we want to pay him, but how are we paying him? Can't pay him as an independent because he's not maintaining
He's an
insurance. So-
employee, city
so
employee,
you wanna make him a city
$37 an
employee?
hour, economic development director, up to $1,500 a month.
Okay.
That's it.
Councilman LaFever?
Yeah, I'll be voting no on that, okay? This hourly thing concerns me, okay? It's a lot of hassle for Karen and her group to go through this hourly stuff. If you're really dead set on that, we had to just pay him $16.50 a month. This hourly thing concerns me. I don't like hourly deal,
Well,
okay?
he's putting in way more hours than
It doesn't
20
matter what
hours
he,
a week, but,
listen,
you know.
probably a lot of people here do, okay? But we pay him $16.50, whatever it is, that'll take care of it. You want to pay his insurance for him, take care of that, we're back to square one again, if he's worth it.
He's definitely worth it,
Well,
but
then that's fine, and
it's
that's,
an easier
yeah.
way to go.
yeah. So he'll make the same amount of money, but it'll be on a monthly draw, okay? Instead of getting $1,500 a month, he'll get $16.50. And he use a $150 a month to pay his insurance.
Here, I don't care how it gets done, Bill.
So you're looking at, he would be making 1,500, but you're giving him another
So you're gonna
150
pay
to
his
actually put towards his insurance, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I don't want to be involved in an hourly deal. Jim works a lot of hours, okay? And, you know. if we're-
We weren't looking to exceed $1,500 a month.
Yeah, but somebody's gonna come back and say, geez, you know, Jim worked 71 hours last week.
That
We
was
gotta give
what
him more money."
that 20 hours was averaging out per week, was a $37.50
Yeah.
per hour.
I just rather see a regular, monthly salary for him, okay? That's my.
Madam Mayor, can I make a recommendation? Perhaps go back to, the administration, go back, take a look at it, and come back with what makes sense. I mean, it certainly, to me, it would be a part-time employee, not a full-time employee, with all the benefits and everything. Come back, bring it back to this body, and then perhaps move forward, you know. After that, I'm not sure this is.
What about Wednesday, when he's needed down at the county? Like,
He
Wally
can,
just
he can
said.
show up and we can make the compensation.
represent us?
Yeah, I mean,
He would be happy to, you know Jim.
Oh, I
well,
know
huh?
he will
Huh?
be happy to, but is it allowable if he's not our employee? What's the story?
No, his role in that is a resource to your legal counsel handling those proceedings. You probably give testimony, you probably recount for the judge the history and series of transactions that were involved in this.
Up to him.
Councilman Peruggi.
Mr. Long, are we at risk if he goes unattached to either his own consultant or a city employee? If he goes on his own volition and does a testimony, are we at risk for that conversation in the court proceedings?
That's a good point.
That's what I just said.
Well, the testimony that he'll be giving, we presume, will be related to work that he did, discussions that he had with the defendant slash plaintiff during that period where he was employed by the city.
Okay.
So that's presumably the nature of the testimony. We have no idea what they'll ask of him on cross-examination, whether he's currently employed by the city, did he get fired by the city, is he retained by the... That's likely to come up on cross-examination.
Thank you.
and then one last thing, Madam Mayor, if I may, and perhaps you can consult with Mr. Long, then, I mean, if he goes through as a consultant and some of you folks decide that you want to move forward and bump the number up to take take care of the fees for the workers' comp and general liability, I would think it makes sense in the best interest of the city that we get a hold harmless agreement as well.
Okay. So did you want to speak?
I just got a question, Mr. Long, with that. So, okay, so you're telling me he's gonna go down there and testify and everything else, but if we pick anybody else that worked here formerly, and they get called in, and they're said, you were the police chief, you were the fire chief, you were the mayor, you were the city attorney, we were paying you. We pay those people, correct? When they go down to testify, even though they're retired, you'd have to compensate them, because they're working now, or, I mean, there's some liability with that, isn't there?
Well, he has not been subpoenaed by the other side, and that would be the case if he was subpoenaed. But he'll be asked several questions about what he did as city administrator. And he doesn't have to appear because he's not been subpoenaed. I mean, he could say, I'm not interested anymore. Who knows what his reaction would be if you terminated an arrangement with him, because he's appearing voluntarily at the request of the city's attorney, Mr. Ackerman.
Okay.
Now, are you wanting to strike your substitute motion and go back to your original motion to refer, to ask administration to look into other options regarding obtaining a contract
If
for
that's the will of the
that?
council, I'll withdraw my substitute motion. If they can get back with us right away, and it'll be, what, 2 weeks then before?
I guess I'm looking at this is till November, people. The problem that I have is that you're actually looking at until November. We've got court cases coming up with, Dr. Nasir, we've got other things, and we're gonna sit here and just wait this out. I'm not understanding why you wouldn't go ahead. We've already gone past a month, and he hasn't been paid or hasn't been told what, except for that his contract, said he denied the contract because of the insurance he'd have to pay. But now we're at the point of, we're in the middle of February, so I guess, he can't do anything more for us until we move on it. So, I don't know what else to do. I don't know if this is personal matters, that people have a vendetta, I don't know. I'm getting that impression that it could be, so we gotta figure out where we're at with this, because
That's
this,
totally
hold on,
uncalled
I'm
for.
talking,
That's totally uncalled for,
I'm
Mayor.
talking. I'm talking. So, the problem that we have at this point in time is that we are now at a point that we actually need him because of the circumstances with the hospital. We need to look at what we need for down the road here, because we've got other things that are in the fire with different organizations that we have, different developments that are coming up. So I guess what I'm looking at is, we gotta get off the pot on this. Let's, figure out what we need to do. So, Councilman Benedetti.
Question for Administrator Church. Can we just make him a part-time employee and put a stipulation on how much we pay him, and that's it, and it's up to him, the hours? We know we're gonna get the 10 or 20 hours a month that we're requesting, and put a time frame on it? Like that, or
And
can we
unless
do
the
that
ci-
and just get away with the insurance issue and everything else?
Unless the city attorney tells me otherwise, I don't think there's a prohibition on that. Regarding the insurance, I did talk with our carrier. To Councilman Howie's point, they said it is a best practice. They would recommend any contractual arrangement, them having their own insurance. So that was not a request that was off base. They did say, however, any employee, whether it's full-time or part-time, this is a core government function that is covered under our general liability policy currently. So engaging another employee, whether it's full-time, part-time, whether that's done by an existing employee or a new hire, is covered within the premium. So there is no additional cost of the insurance associated with an employee performing. It's just if it becomes a contractual arrangement, that's an obligation of a contractor to provide that insurance unless the city were to pick up that cost.
Councilwoman Von Crooks?
I'm ready to vote on it tonight. As a part-time employee, his insurance would be covered under our umbrella policy and up to $1,500 a month. It's going to work out the same as an hourly part-time employee. So I'm not going to withdraw my second motion. I'm going to remake it however it needs to be made, and let's vote.
Councilman LaFever?
Scott, are there any other additional costs to the city by having him be made a part-time employee? As far as workman's comp, anything else involved, Social Security?
The only costs associated with part-time employment for his position would be the same costs associated with every other part-time employee. We pay the associated payroll costs. Our premiums for workers' comp, for unemployment comp, are all based on what our total payroll is, or payroll within those certain functions. But there are no paid benefits. Just to clarify, when you talk about insurance, liability insurance, I'm assuming is what you're talking about, that we're not providing insurance, we're not providing pension, we're not providing any fringe benefits other than those that are required of all part-time employees.
The question was, would it cost us any more to employ him as a part-time employee? As far as workman's compensation, anything like that, would it be additional Social Security, any additional money? Or exactly the same?
As what the contractual $1,500 was?
Yeah. The difference between having him as an outside employee or having him as a part-time employee, is there any dollar savings or cost to doing it either way? I believe there is.
There are some marginal employee costs associated with them being a part-time employee that a contractual employee or a contractual arrangement would not carry, and that would be those payroll costs.
Yeah. So it does cost more to have a part-time employee than a contractual. And what is hopefully Jim's work's also done a great job. What are you gonna do when he takes off for a month on vacation, which is fine, okay? Are you still gonna pay him the $1,600 that month? Or how are you gonna, who's gonna be in charge of that arrangement?
It's hourly.
He's going to be, he can only work up to a certain amount of hours, number one. And number two, he has to turn in a payroll sheet just like everybody else.
Okay. So if he's on vacation, he won't get paid.
I don't get paid for when I'm on vacation.
Okay, I'm just asking. I'm just asking.
Just to clarify, because there have been times when he has participated in conference calls, even when he's on vacation,
Sure, I understand.
that so he could incur some log time
Fine.
just because he's not physically here. Or if there's a preference to just go to a set monthly amount.
I think monthly is a lot easier.
I would not argue with
But
that.
everybody wants to,
It has never been an issue of, are we getting hours out of him?
correct, that's my point, okay?
To me, it would be much simpler all the way around. It is something that, I asked Mr. Wagner on the phone today, if basically the framework and the terms of the contractual services agreement, if that were to be a part-time employee arrangement at the same terms and expectations, he said he would be agreeable to that.
By the time you figure it all out, but the small costs we have by having a part-time employee, be easier to have the insurance included and give them a monthly pay. A lot cleaner, a lot cleaner.
I'm not sure what the insurance costs would equal when it comes down to it. If there's $1,600, then that would be $1,600 for the year if you paid him $1,650 for each month.
But that's with the assumption that you're going to the lowest bidder.
Yeah,
That's the one, he got the insurance from the place he wanted it on, that's what he told me, okay? I don't know, maybe he didn't, I think he told me the truth. The whole idea, I think we've overkilled the deal, okay? I don't agree much with, it looks to me, it gives the impression that we're trying to make him a part-time employee to get away from some of the rules and regulations, okay? I think it's better to have it all on board, everybody can see it all, and here's what it costs. Then we think it's worth it while to hire him or not, like Timber says. Is it worth it or not? That's all we need to vote on. And we're stuck in this position now because the administration put him in the budget for 6 months.
The thing that bothers
That's why
me
we're
is
in
that you act like he's not going to put his 20 hours in. And I'm to the point where this man, you had to have been here to know how many hours this man put in as the city administrator.
I don't know.
It was on the weekends, it was at night, it was everything else, and he read up on different things, and so
I'm not questioning
we're
your
getting our
question.
money's worth.
Listen, you're the one that's questioning, not me.
I'm not questioning
You didn't
anything.
put him in the budget for the year, okay? You didn't bring it up tonight, and you bring it up at the last minute here and want to get it passed.
I didn't bring it up tonight.
I did.
Okay, what brought up?
I did.
I'm just saying it's a lot easier, and if Scott recommends that, that's fine. You still want to make him an hourly employee.
You fine with that, Scott?
I have no opposition to whatever the will of the council is. I was saying that a part-time employee is what Mr. Wagner was until December 31st. And this would essentially just be reinstating as he was from March 1st through December 31st of 2018. That's if they were to pursue the part-time employee route. If there's a desire to go contractual services and structure it differently, it's just a different structure.
Call the vote, please.
Madam Clerk?
Madam Mayor?
Can you read the motion
Repeat the
back?
motion. Stephen wanted to speak.
No, that's, if we're calling the vote, I'm good to go.
Okay.
Okay, so the motion is to hire Jim Wagner as a part-time employee at a rate of $37 an hour up to $1,500 a month.
It becomes, I think it's $37.50, I think it is.
$7.50 an hour up to $1,500 a month. Okay. Perugi,
Yes.
Berzappa?
Yes.
Stack?
Yes.
Von Crooks?
Yes.
Benedetti?
Yes.
Howie?
No.
LaFever?
Yes.
Motion carried, Mayor Stack.
Thank you. Okay, Madam, or should I say, Councilwoman Von Crooks?
This should have been the
Anything
fastest
else?
meeting we ever had. It should have been the fastest meeting we ever had in the history
I
of
know.
Trenton.
Well, it was worth it. This is the best spent money you spent in a long time. Thank you very much for approving it, and I have nothing else. Thank you.
Councilman Benedetti?
Yeah, first off, I'd like to say, I think he is an asset. Jim is an asset for the development of the city. There are things going on. I've seen people come in. I know he's worked with Mr. McNally. When it came time to do stuff, there was a grant awarded through that. I think Jim had a hand in getting that started. And there's different things that we've gotten over the last couple of years that I've seen him do. So I think it's one of the better things we have done. The second thing is, I'd like to tell you, Mayor, today you did a good job with your speech.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully the residents watch it. They know the services we provide. I think you told everybody pretty much that we do provide the number one services. Those guys do a great job. And it was nice to see Officer Lyons get the award from the Rotary. The Paul Harris, right? Is that
Yes.
okay? That was awesome for him to get that. We have tons of great employees within the city, but right now he stands out, and I think he's a deserving person of that. Besides that, nothing else. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman LaFever?
Just a couple things. I missed today, Kyle, so I missed your speech. I'm sure you'll tell me about it later on. But Dr. Point, over the weekend, I wasn't in town either. But the showcase went phenomenal. All my friends called me. Nobody complained, if you can believe that, okay? And Joanne and Tim and your group did a phenomenal job up there. It was very positive reporting. It's hard to please all those people with all the problems you had down there, but you took care of it all. And I'm sure Nelson did a good, was he a very good goal judge this year, Nelson? Yeah, the best. Yeah, it was good. Anyway, congratulations
Let a
to you
couple
for
by
that.
him.
You did a great job. You just made one mistake, I heard.
And what pray tell was that?
I don't know. You must have done something wrong, didn't you?
Yeah.
No, and I thought that the city did a phenomenal job with all the cold weather, the snow, everything happened over the weekend. It was a great job. I'm proud to live in Trenton.
Did a great job, yes. Councilman Perugi?
You done, Bill?
Yeah, I can't do anything else.
Well, I didn't hear you say you were done. I was just giving you.
I'm done,
All right.
officially done.
All right. I'd like to say the same sentiments to Tim and Joanne. It was well-run. I was pretty impressed how chaotic it was, but yet it was organized chaos. It was, you guys got curveballs. It looked like you're handling them well. And I wasn't a goal judge, Bill. I was in my most familiar and comfortable spot. I was in the penalty box.
Oh, geez, all right. Not in the freezer, though.
No, not in the freezer. No. Tim knows that rule. So again, I want to say thanks, and nothing else, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councilman Howie?
Couple things. One, just wanted to thank the DPW with the cold, extreme temperatures and everything that we've had. I think they did a great job. Certainly with the Parks and Recs and the high school hockey showcase, it was very, very well organized. And I think that the entire Recreation Commission plus all the volunteers. It's just unbelievable how many people it takes to really put that type of event on. I mean, just hundreds and hundreds of people that step up, that are cheerful, and really showcase our community. And I was there watching the hockey. I didn't work it, but there was, I mean, the place was clean. I mean, everything about it. So, and that's not always the case. Mayor, you've heard me had other conversations at other events, hockey events, where the facilities, but I thought it was very, very well organized. And thank you for all the volunteers who showed up.
It was over 100, from what Joanne and Tim had said. There was over 100 volunteers.
And we had all the best
Some of them
high
worked
school
two and three
teams.
and 2 and 3 different, like 3 and 4 games on the weekend. So
And two things. One, it was going to be 100% positive with you, Mayor, but I was a little offended. I mean, I think that's a low blow for you to make a comment like that. I think it was very, very unfair, and it was just not proper. But moving on, as far as the State of the City address, you did a nice job. I think it was well attended. I think it's a good event for us to really tell the mayor, to explain what's going on with our community. And everybody knows that we have some challenges, but what we put on the street each and every day. I mean, just take a look at the award that Mr. Benedetti was talking about with Stephen Lyons. I mean, what a humble person. I mean, it's just, and that's not surprising at all with the Lyons family. I mean, for him to say that any other police officer or first responder would do exactly the same thing, and never once took a pat on the back. But you know what? We should be proud that we have employees. This young gentleman just came in, Tyler, and it was 1 year, and I said, look, you're going to snap your fingers, and you're going to be walking down here across the council chambers. It's going to be 5 years, and we're very fortunate. We have great employees. We got great community. That's it.
okay, thank you. Councilmember Zeppa?
Yeah, nothing too much tonight. I guess the one thing I wanted to make mention of, that we talked about before, was the Free Press article that ran a week or so ago about the citation from MDEQ at Crown. And I just had been hearing from people saying, why are the mayor and council trying to hide this from us, yada, yada. And I just wanted to show everyone watching at home that, we all talked about it. We didn't find out until the article ran either. And I just wanted to commend the mayor for reaching out to MDEQ to make sure that they have much more streamlined communication with us on that too. So we, never know anything that everyone else doesn't know or anything like that. We're not harboring information. That sometimes that's how we find out as well. But other than that, I don't have anything.
Yeah, just to let the public know, we did not know about the citation until later, and that's when I made a call to Rick Conforti from the MDEQ, and he's got us on the direct line to let us know if there's anything else that happens at the McLeod site. So, thank you.
Madam Mayor, if I could just say one last thing. I just want to let the residents know that some people have asked if they've gotten emails, and unfortunately, the city email that I have, the exchange, is still not working, so I need to get that working. So if for some reason somebody wants to get a hold of me, they can go to rjhi@comcast.net. That's rjhi@comcast.net. Thank you.
Okay.
No.
I'll make a note for Teresa to make sure she gets that working for you.
Next week or next meeting. That's fine.
Okay, I would like to, I got everybody, so I wanted to let you know that the showcase was a great hit. I have to say that the Recreation Department, Recreation Commission, and all the hockey people that put that together, it turned out excellent. And I know Tim was running around like a chicken with his head cut off, trying to make sure everybody was satisfied with what was going on. So thank you very much. And Joanne had to come back from a conference because, it took her 5 hours to get out to Kalamazoo and all that good stuff. So we thank both of you for a great job. Well done. Also, I'm just going to leave this incident, but we did have another incident on the river, and so I will leave that for future meeting when the police department would like to come forward and honor the people that saved a person on the Detroit River the other day. So that's all I have for tonight. And Madam Clerk, do you have anything?
I'd like to just mention there will be a council study session following the meeting tonight upstairs in the caucus room regarding the budget. And the next regular council meeting is Tuesday, February 19th at 7 p.m. We will be closed on Monday, the 18th for President's Day.
One last thing I forgot is that we had the State of the City address today, and the Business Association had done a couple of things, and I wanted to let them know that they made a new award that they're giving out, and it was Business Person of the Year, and our own John McNally won that particular award. Well-deserved, and all the things that you've been doing for the community, so thank you very much. Also, the Open Book Theater won Business of the Year, and if you haven't seen one of their shows, please take time out and go and see one of the shows. Take on go somewhere local and have dinner, and then go to the shows. The shows have been great there. Also, Scott Barr received Service Above South from the Trenton Rotary Club for his all his volunteer time that he's done for the festival, and also he was on the Civic Commission with doing all the different programs that they had there. And also Steve Lyons, his heroic job that he did saving that woman's life. He was honored at the city, or at the State of the City address. So I want to thank everybody for attending, and I will now go to our yes.
You had mentioned upstairs earlier that you were thinking about having the study session here.
We can just have it here. We don't have to go back
Just didn't know
upstairs.
if
Yeah.
Madam Clerk
up and
was
down.
okay
We'll
with
just
that.
we'll have the study session down here, so we don't have to go up and down the stairs. Our city assessor, would you like to have anything you'd like to report to the public?
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. I would like to just let the taxpayers know, the personal property taxpayers know, that the personal property statements and small taxpayer business exemptions forms are due on February 20th. The March Board of Review dates for appeals of assessment are as follows. The day sessions are March 12th, 14th, and 15th, 9 a.m. to noon and 1 p.m. before. The evening sessions are March 13th and 19th, 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. As you know, the March Board of Review meets here in City Hall in the Commission's Room. The residential assessments for this year will increase on an average of 7.5%. Commercial assessments will increase by 2.3%. And industrial assessments will be flat again this year in 2009. Taxable value will increase by the inflation rate multiplier for 2019 by 2.4%. And that's statewide. The assessment notices will go out to the printer February 14th. Thank you. Any questions? Yes, sir.
John, the deal we made with the county about the land bank, there was some confusion, at least in my state of mind, that when they start getting half their money, they get it this year or later on to kick in?
I believe with the properties that went to that reverted out of the land bank this year, okay, when the land bank had it last year, and now it's out of the land bank for this year, I think that starts this year. It starts currently.
And if they put that in writing to you, or you don't have to be a fact, or just surmising?
I'm just surmising from what I haven't gotten anything in writing from them. But I've had some contact with them, and it is my belief that that 50% starts, once the property has left the land bank and has been taken out of the land bank and given to the and put on the assessment roll and given to the new owner. I think it starts right away.
I think it would behoove us to get that in writing, so we all know what rules we're playing by. Okay?
I will do that for you, sir. Okay?
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our city treasurer, Mr. Bacala?
Yeah, just a friendly reminder about the city taxes. First of all, I want to thank those folks that have paid the taxes, but there is a deadline coming up. It's Valentine's Day. It's the 14th, which I think is a Thursday. So I want to remind folks to pay their taxes. Also, since City Hall was closed last week, the Treasurer's Office is waiving any late fees for water bills due to the January 31st. And then we'll waive them until Tuesday, February 5th, which is tomorrow. at 5 p.m. So we apologize for any inconvenience, so we want to make sure that folks aren't not only experience an inconvenience, but also a penalty. They aren't going to get a penalty. On the bill that was due the 31st. That's correct. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you. Any department heads have anything they'd like to report?
Well, yeah, I kind of feel like I'm a little obligated now, just so. After the rescue by Sergeant Lyons, we conducted a debriefing on what happened out there that day. And listening to the officers that were all involved, we determined that we had to take some extra steps. And Chief Scheffler, along with the officers, came up with an idea to purchase these things that are called throw bags. They're not cheap, but we ended up buying 5 of them. And on Sunday, a gentleman was walking his 2 dogs at Elizabeth Park. One of them broke free, chased after some geese, went out into the canal, which was right next to the entrance into the river. While he's trying to catch his dog, he fell through the ice and was stuck on in the ice about 25, 30 feet out with no way to get to him without risking someone walking on the ice. One of our officers was able to grab one of the throw bags that we had just got and threw it to him. Actually threw it over him. He was able to grab the rope. And then 3 or 4 officers were able to, after he tied it around himself, pull him out of the water across the ice into safety. The dog had already ran back on shore and was fine. Trenton Fire Department treated him at the scene, and he actually did not even go to the hospital. He was in the water for about 5 minutes. Without the device, I'm not sure what we would have done. We would have probably had to risk somebody going on the ice to try to pull him out because he couldn't get out. His arms were on top of the ice. So that's the story. I know the media now has it, so it'll be out tomorrow.
Okay, very good. So you got it first, right here. Is there any other department heads? Mr. Beaker?
Thank you, Mayor. As many of you have mentioned already about the showcase that occurred this past weekend, I want to say thank you to all of our volunteers. We had over 100 volunteers. We had our seniors that participated much with some baked goods and also helped with some selling of programs and things of that nature for us throughout the weekend. We had a large outcry of support from our local businesses throughout the community and all of downriver. So a lot goes into this, and I want to make sure that that every one of those volunteers are recognized full-heartedly. You'll see some posts out on Facebook over the next couple days thanking them and for a tremendous job that they have done. They get paid nothing. They get to see some good hockey, but it's amazing the hours that go into that and the amount of hours that some of these people have stepped up to put forth. So thank you to all of them. Thank you to you that have participated throughout the weekend, and we're looking forward to a 19th year at Trenton and 20th year overall for the showcase next year. Our own Chad Clemens is now going to be taking over running the showcase portion on behalf of the MIHL League, as Andy Wiedenbach, who was the previous president of the league and also ran the showcase, has now retired. So,
Very nice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else have something they'd like to report to the public? Okay. If not, I'm looking at public participation. If anybody would like to,
Forgot. Somebody's upstairs.
if they'd like to speak, they can go up to the podium.
I'm ready to go up there.
Nothing? Okay, now for an adjournment at 8 o'clock.
Moved.
So moved.
Support.
Support. We are adjourned at 8 o'clock.
John, you sat there all I didn't say.